Game number 4 of the day is about to get underway, so get your scorebooks ready, folks. I'm Max Raymond alongside Josh Yuhas and our producer, Charlie Jones, as this one is officially in action. The first pitch from the starting arm for the Generals of Hanfield is a ball. Next one, a ball as well. It's Chris Gelling behind the plate. Nate Wood, the ump, out in the field for this 4th and final game of the day. Game 2 of the doubleheader. That saw the Generals take down the Kings 1-0. That one fouled and grabbed by Bogart. It's Myers to lead it off for the Kings in their lineup, followed by Bogart, McGinley, Buckhalter, Heffernan, Scobona, Christopher Provenzano, and Ryder to round it off once again. Batting 9 for the second game in a row as that pitch is inside, and the count 3-1 to Myers.
The starter of Hanfield has had a lot of work for this General squad. The most games played and the most innings, or second to most innings behind Nafziger.
Ground ball over to Ruppel, uses his body to knock it down, takes it himself for out number 1. And so the defense for the Generals, we go left to right. Destrobats, Melton, and Krapovka. Over at third, it's Golasso. Albert now playing shortstop in this one. TJ Maglioso is at second. Ruppel at first. Howland behind the dish. And Hanfield is on the bump. As Bogart steps into the box, first pitch he sees upstairs for a ball.
For Hanfield, he's 13 innings pitched on this year. Allowed 12 runs, but only 6 of those have been earned, so it's good for a 4.15 ERA so far this season.
Popped up foul territory. It will reach the parking lot. So the count evens at 1 with 1 away. In the top of the first. To number 2, the 2-hitter. Getting a little glimpse of the old days where the guys' numbers were where they batted in the lineup. Squaring around a bunt. Hanfield slips and falls, and nothing cooking there. It'll be a bunt and a base hit there for Bogart.
Hanfield did his best, but he slipped down and fell and was not able to really get the transfer. If he was able to get it over, you figure he could have gotten potentially a throw down, but not able to get the out.
It would have been a tight play. And so now that'll bring up the number 3 hitter, Ian McGinley. As a check over at first, and Bogart's in there safely. It is number 8, Mike McGinley of Rutgers Camden, prior to being a student of the Scarlet Knights. He was over at Ryder, the junior. He was a 4-time All-Conference first team at Delsea High School. So far in the ECCBL, 8 games played, .333 batting average. He's got a home run, 8 RBIs, 2 walks, 3 Ks, and 4 stolen bags. As in the first game, we saw these two teams that are amongst the best at stealing bases in the ECCBL steal a combined total of about 3 or 4 due to incredible catching, where we saw Provenzano throw out 2 runners and LaQuara throw out a runner. Now, Howland's out there catching today, or catching in the second game, as Bogart stays put for now. 0-2 is the count to McGinley.
The Kings really weren't able to establish their kind of game style to try and run. And same thing with the Generals because of the plays behind the plate. Provenzano was strong. LaQuara was strong. We'll see if Howland is as well today.
Chopped to third, and he gets a little moody hop. Skips right past Golasso. It'll be a bad hop single. And so McGinley's got a base knock today. Bogart will head over to second base. And so now first and second for Buckhalter with only 1 away here in the top of the first.
And that's back-to-back fortunate singles. The one that was hit back to the pitcher, really no play for him to make, or a difficult one rather. And then that one, just one of those moody hops where never touched him, gets through for a base hit. And that's 2 base runners with 1 down.
Fouled off for Buckhalter. And the Kings in game one were able to load the bases. They had runners on second and third with 1 out. They loaded it with 2 outs, and yet weren't able to score the run. That was in the first inning and was their best chance to score a run in game one. That saw them score none. Here they are in game two, top of the first, runner in scoring position with 1 out. Similar situation, can they get a different result? They count 0-2 to Buckhalter. Foul tipped into the glove, and so strike number 3. And that'll bring up Heffernan with 2 away.
It'll be Heffernan's first appearance of the day. When we talked with Coach Tyler Kimmick, we knew Heffernan was not going to play the first and was going to play the second. And here he is for his first at-bat of the day.
Sean Heffernan, batting 250. Excuse me. Yes, batting 256 on the season with a 423 on-base percentage. He is, again, another one of those guys that simply just gets on base. 9 stolen bags, 2 caught stealing, 11 walks, 6 Ks, no home runs, 7 RBIs. He's ahead in the count 1-0. He's ahead in the count now 2-0. So, Hanfield, 3-pitch strikeout on Buckhalter, but now behind 2-0 to Heffernan. The 5th hitter in this Kings lineup, that will plate 9. Uniquely different batters, at least to start with. As that one's upstairs, and the count runs full 3-0 to Heffernan.
I think as tempting as it can be to swing here, you have to wait for a strike from Hanfield. He's one of those guys where you know that he can get in the zone, so you'd figure he will here.
Called a strike. Chris Gelling taking a little bit of time to make that call, but he makes it, so 3-1. Called strike 2, that one. Clip in the outside part of the plate, and so the count runs full. 3-2, 2 outs. The runners, they'll take off on the pitch. Heffernan with his dazzling Tatis Victus bat settles. The pitch from Hanfield fouled off. So we'll do it again. Rocking the 23 Tatis model. Gorgeous Victus bat.
It's got a nice glow to it. You can kind of see the red just above the grip under the barrel. And it's just a nice bat as a whole. Victus makes some really solid bats across the board.
Hanfield will deal. Heffernan will take ball 4. And so now the bases are once again loaded with 2 outs. And that'll bring up Will Scabona.
Number 6, right fielder, Will Scabona.
And this is where you need a different result than that first game. They weren't able to produce the base hits that they needed. And a Kings team that usually does have that answer, but you're going to have to find it here if you want to split this series.
Fouled off right between the wickets of Howland for strike number 1. And Hanfield already up to 22 pitches now in the inning. A long inning, but what we've seen consistently out of a lot of pitchers is that their first inning of work is long, and following that, they seem to tighten up quite a bit. They settle in and get comfortable being out on the mound and in the game. 0-1, still with 2 outs here in the top of the first. No runs yet as that one sachets into the strike zone for strike number 2.
A little bit of dance.
More credits due to the pitch, as it now 0-2 plunks him. And so the Kings now officially get the first run in this game. So we remember back to the last game where it seemed like a pass ball turned into a hit by a pitch, and so the run didn't score. This time, the run does score thanks to a hit by a pitch. Marco Christopher, number 7, playing left field. That's position 7.
Number 7.
And he's the 7th in the lineup, pointed out by our incredible PA announcer, Jeff, over there. So thank you, Jeff, for pointing out that incredible fact.
Now, you have to wonder, has he seen the film 7? Very good film.
I guess we'll have to ask him. As that ball will kick away, and all the runners will advance a free 90 feet. And this one will not be called back as a hit by a pitch. The runners will actually get to advance base. They'll pass go, collect a free $200, and a 2-0 lead.
It's a lot of $200.
Yeah, well, that's the standard for Monopoly is $200. If you give any more, kind of ridiculous. If you give any less, you're out of your mind.
Feels like they picked the perfect value there for
Absolutely.
for go.
Absolutely. That's what I would value, is pass and go is worth. Especially because of the price of Boardwalk, as that one's called a strike.
You're trying to buy those blue squares, you need a lot of money to get it. And also, if you're landing on different spots across the board and you want to buy them, you need some funds to work with.
Are you someone who's strategical when you play Monopoly, or you just buy everything?
I fear I convince myself that I think I'm strategic and then realize I'm just buying everything by the end of the game. And I look at it and it's like, I have way too many properties and not too much progress in this game.
See, I'm just a buy-it-all kind of guy, because the more properties I own, the higher the chance it is that someone else is going to land on that property and end up paying me money. So I just buy it all. Plus, that's less property anyone else can buy. 2-1 now becomes 3-1 with still 2 outs. The Kings have found a way to rally. And now they've got a 3-1 count, a 2-run lead, 2 outs, and 2 runners in scoring position. Heffernan over on third, and Scobona over on second. Heffernan walked. Scobona was hit by a pitch. And so struggling with the zone and command is Hanfield, as now he walks another batter. Third batter to reach base safely without having to swing the bat is Hanfield, as now we get a quick little mound visit. And not the start to the game that the Generals would have liked. The exact start to a game, relatively, that head coach of the Kings, Tyler Kimmick, would have wanted. Some runs finally on his scoreboard.
But even in this inning, it's still not produced by base hits. Sure, you had the 2 singles to start it, but what has brought in all these runs? Walk, wild pitch, hit by pitch, walk, walk. And that has produced a couple of runs for the Kings here. They've produced 3 so far, but there's still a lot of open room left. But you'll kind of put that behind you, because in the other game, the Generals scored 1 in that first, and then that was the only run that ended up scoring in that game. So you will definitely take as many runs as you can get, however you can take it. And for Tyler Kimmick, a game, if you want to stay just behind the Mammoths, you have to split this series, and they're doing their job of not swinging at things they're not supposed to and taking their free passes for a couple of runs.
Now steps the 8-hitter and catcher in Provenzano, who threw out 2 base runners, one at second, one at third in the game prior, and will lace this one back up the middle for a base hit. 1 run scores. Here comes Scobona. He will score. Coasting into second with a single, and a 2 RBI is Provenzano, as the Kings put up a 4 spot and still an opportunity to tack on more here in the top of the first.
And there is the swing to finally break this inning through. And it's exactly what this team needed if they were going to have any chance. The big hit to break some of those guys off the base pass, and you still keep guys in scoring position, runners on second and third. You produce 4 runs and still keeping this 2-out rally going.
And now the 9th and final hitter before we potentially may see Mason Myers, step back up to the plate. It's Ryder. First pitch, he sees a strike, and Ryder started up what was almost a 2-out rally back in the top of the 7th of the game prior. Recorded a hit, and Schwinn followed it up with another one, and the Kings were threatening to potentially tie up the game. But, of course, that was all for naught, and so now in this one, Ryder has a chance to get a hit, keep a 2-out rally going rather than having to start it up. But, of course, he's down to just 1 strike remaining, and if he will be forced to battle. So Ryder settles in, bomb bat in his hand, prepares for the pitch from Hanfield, fouls it off.
For the starter for the Kings, you have to feel really comfortable the fact that before you even step on the mound, your team has put up 4 runs. No matter how it came up, it is still 4 on the board that the Generals are going to have to work out of. And it just instills confidence in you to go out and play your game on the mound.
0-2. Hit out to left field. It'll stay in the park. Settling under it and eventually making the catch is Destrobats to finally end the inning. But the Kings strike first. A 4 spot to take the lead. 4-0 will head to the bottom of the first where the Generals will get their first chance to bat here on Jersey Baseball Nation. Bottom of the first, and the Kings lead it 4-0. The Generals, they'll finally get their first at-bats of game number 2 and game number 4 of the day. It's Carlton Crane to lead it off, followed by Melton and Lucas Albert. There will be the minimum 3 to see the field and step up to the plate in this inning as the first pitch to Crane is a strike, followed by the 4-hitter of Galasso, then Rupel, Howland, Garrow, Maglioso, Destrobats, and Kurt Kaprufka. Once again, the 10th and final hitter in this Generals lineup. And out there on the mound for the South Jersey Kings is the right-hander, who's behind in the count 2-1, of Forster. So that one's called strike, and the count now 2-2.
Forster in the ECCBL has started one game, the only game he played in. 2 innings pitched, allowed 3 hits and 1 run, but not earned. And you go back to his high school days, pitched at Bordentown to a 2.32 ERA and 125 strikeouts.
And is committed to TCNJ.
And that was in 69 1/3 innings pitched. And even the year before, his junior year, 53 1/3, a 2.10 ERA.
3-2 count, and this one lifted. It looks like it's hanging in foul territory, and it'll hit the walk-in path. It's given a great chase to it. Was the third baseman in Ryder.
You even go back a year before that, 36 1/3 inning, the ERA gets even lower at 1.16. So a career 2.34 ERA and 251 career high school strikeouts. We'll see what he brings in his second start.
Over to third, diving grab by Ryder, but the throw not in time. Great play there by Ryder to keep the ball in the infield, but unable to get to his feet and throw out the speedy Carlton Crane. So Crane uses his speed and finds a leadoff single as the Generals look for a response to the 4-run top of the fourth.
And he needed that badly because he was 4 for 22 coming into the day. Has been pretty unlucky, I would say, in some of his swings here at Moody Park. But he finds another way to get on base. And then it brings up a guy who swings big in Lucas Melton. When he connects hard, but also comes with that swing and miss.
It's Lucas Melton followed by Lucas Albert. As the next pitch in there for a ball. 1-1 the count. Andrew Forster throws a little pickoff, keeping Carlton modest, but of course aware of the arm of Provenzano behind the dish. As that one swung right through by Melton, 1-2 the count, as we finally, for the first time today, can look up to the sky and see blue skies. I see some blue.
With how today has looked, it is something you will take not for granted because it's such a nice thing to see. It's a tiny sliver, but we will take anything.
Next pitch in the dirt. 2-2 now the count. And if you're Forster, he's thrown a couple of pickoffs over to first, but typically a pitcher will do that too, at the very least, to keep the runner modest. However, you got to have a feeling that Provenzano and the threat of his arm should be enough to keep a runner modest the way that he's been throwing today anyways.
Yeah, he had a strong first game, throwing out a couple guys, some throws on the money, and the pop time has been there. The strong throws have been there. And we see a Generals team not really feeling the same confidence in stealing a base, where maybe against a different opponent they may be stealing with a guy like Crane who has solid speed coming from Pennsbury. And even Lucas Albert has looked different when he's on base since he got thrown out in that first game. Really does not feel that same confidence to run because of that plays behind the plate from Provenzano.
The 2-2, as Forster will once again check over on Crane. Now deal. Swung on and miss. Crane takes off the throw down. The ball gets away. Oh, that was almost a beautiful strike him out, throw him out, but Crane will snag second base. However, Forster will K up Melton swinging, so that'll bring up Lucas Albert. The dangerous Lucas Albert with a runner in scoring position.
Can never count him out of an at-bat. Never count him out of a base hit, even when he puts down a bunt. Puts down some of the best we've seen, especially in Game 1. He dropped one that moved Crane over and got himself on base. But also can swing it very well.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is this the position where he lays down a bunt?
I wouldn't be surprised. It's certainly one down, and you have a runner on second, and we know how hard it is to move these runners over. If you can put down a good bunt, you can get them over.
Well, definitely not bunting as he swings at that one, and the count is now 0-2.
The thing is, he can also swing it, and that's the thing. He's not only able to bunt and use his speed. He has good contact tool. He's hitting .511 coming into the day. Gets on base with a .566 on base, and can slug it as well with a .660 slug. He is a 1,200 OPS on the season just coming into today.
0-2 with one away. Called strike 3. Lucas Albert disagrees, but his opinion, well, let's be real. As The Rock would say, it doesn't matter what you think. The only opinion that matters is the umps. And so it's strike 3. And that now 2 away. As Galasso will step up with the Generals still trailing 4-0. They got a runner on second as Forster looks to strand him there. First pitch, outside for a ball.
Galasso in Game 1 in the field had a stellar day, had a lot of hops, had to jump up for one, made the catch, and had to jump up for another and made a nice double play. But can he carry it over to the plate is the big question here in Game 2.
Well, he'll found that one off. And so the count is now 1-1. Galasso playing third base, today. He was at second in the first game. Albert was at third. He's now at playing shortstop in this game. As Galasso will swing and chop one over to short. Bogart fields on to first to McGinley. Got him for out number 3. And so the Kings will strand one and head to the top of the second, still leading 4-0 here on Jersey Baseball Nation.
For the Generals in the first, no runs, no hits. Myers.
Top 2 and top of the lineup once again for the Kings, who batted through the lineup first time around in the first inning. And now we'll see 1, 2, and 3 in the lineup of Myers, Bogart, and McKinley be the minimum to bat here in the second inning. 1-0, the count to Myers as more blue sky pops open here at what is starting to turn into a lovely day at Moody Park, or a lovely evening, excuse me. The light's still on, shining dazzlingly bright, as the count is now 2-0 to Mason Myers. Myers grounded out to the third baseman in Jake Rupel, who took it himself. That was back in the first inning, which feels like quite a little bit ago. It was about a half hour or so ago since his at-bat. Next pitch inside, and the count 3-1 as it is Hanfield back out for another inning of work. Called a strike, and the count runs full as head coach Braden Meskill hoping that Hanfield can get through at least another inning or so and eat up a couple more for him before he has to go to his bullpen. The 3-2 chopped foul. Heads up in the dugout as that one somehow found a way through the small little crack in between the fence and the roofing of the dugout, but it didn't sound like it hit anyone, thankfully.
It's a good thing to hear.
The 3-2 again. Chopped that way, everyone takes off running as that one once again found a way into the dugout as there's a section at the end where there is no fencing.
It's like that one old Major League clip where I think it was the Angels in the dugout and it was a Royals hitter at the plate, and he fouled off like 4 of them, seared on a line because they didn't have protection or any fence in front of the dugout. It was an open dugout at that time.
Swung on and missed, strike 3. And Myers down swinging and records an out in the first out of the inning, and now will step up Bogart, who recorded a single and started that 1-out rally.
And at first the guy seared it into the dugout. Everyone was still in their regular spots in the dugout. Then the second one, everyone moved a little bit farther away. And then by the third one, everyone was in the left corner of the dugout.
1 out. Kings lead it 4-0. First pitch to Bogart in there for a strike. Another breaking ball, or looked like a cutter actually, fouled off, and so the count 0-2. Hanfield's had great movement on his pitches. The problem has just been command and control. He's been able to get him to move and spin, although not to the extremities that he might have wanted them to, but it's just simply finding the zone with his pitches. As that one way upstairs, and so the count now 1-2 to the 2-hitter, number 2, in Bogart, Jason Bogart, the shortstop who made the play to end the bottom of the first. In the dirt, count 2-2. Hanfield sets. He'll kick and deal. Chopped in front of home plate. Howland calls for it. Throws it over to first, and it gets away.
They ruled the runner might have gotten in the way.
They're going to rule interference on the base runner, and so that will be out number 2.
And Coach Kimmick's going to go and ask for an explanation. We know that he has his fair share of talks with the umpires, wants to get a fair understanding of it.
He's going to try and figure it out. It looked like Bogart was within his own right running into the base path.
Kimmick's making a little bit of a demonstration of what he thinks. He thought because of the positioning, maybe, but it seemed like potentially because of where Rupel was positioned. My thought is his argument is that Rupel just in that one, it wasn't really the runner. The runner was in his path, and that Rupel just didn't nab it with the glove. At least that's Kimmick's argument.
It looked like Bogart was just in the base path. He was running to first base. That's what you have to do.
He has the right to
any part
go
of
to
first base.
And he was running a straight line. It's not like he went off a base path to get in the way or the throw. I mean, it was a throw about a little bit closer from the pitcher's mound, and there was a throw that brought Rupel a little bit towards the first base side, but Kimmick's not happy.
Well, that'll be out number 2, and so up will step the 3-hitter in McGinley. With 2 away here in the top of the second, and the Kings still leading it 4-0. Recorded a big 4-run top of the first where they plated 9. And the first pitch to McGinley in there, called strike, and he's a little stunned that it was called a strike.
And Kimmick is still talking about that play. He's talking with the opposing head coach, the opposing manager of Braden Meskill.
Strike, and now McGinley having a conversation with home plate umpire Chris Gelling.
They called him on the swing there. McGinley did not believe he went, and Coach Kimmick will have a talk with McGinley.
0-2 the count with 2 away here in the top of the second. And the Generals look to have a quick 1-2-3 inning and work themselves back up to the plate. That one wild, so 1-2 the count. Hanfield sets. He'll deal. This one looped over to right field. Ranging back is Koprovka. He'll make the catch and end the inning. And so in the inning, 3 up, 3 down. And that will end the top of the second. We'll go to the bottom of the second, where we'll see Rupel, Howland, and Garrow come to the plate when we return here on Jersey Baseball Nation. Bottom second. Kings lead it 4-0 and back out on the mound. It's Andrew Forster, who only needed 19 pitches to get through the first inning, will now look to be even more economical as he begins the second. First pitch of ball to the 5-hitter and third baseman in Rupel.
Coach Kimmick, throughout that whole break, still did not stop arguing his case with the field umpire. And even as the inning was about to start, he walked his way back into the dugout.
Swing and a miss in the count, 1-1. Two and one the count. In the dirt, 3-1 the count to the leadoff batter in the bottom of the second in Jake Rupel. That one snagged out of mid-air by Forster. He'll flip it over to McGinley at first. And a beautiful play there to record the first out of the inning.
Great reaction time, and Jake Rupel, you have to feel for him. He hit that hard. It was having seams for the way up the middle, but a good job of reacting from Forster. He makes the play and throws it to first. So instead of a leadoff single, it's a leadoff ground out.
Next up, Logan Howland. First pitch a ball, second pitch a strike. So they count even at once. Swing and a miss, and the count now 1-2. The 1-2 from Forster to Howland. Swing and a miss, strike three. And so Howland strikes out for out number two, and that'll bring up Chase Garrow, the EH, who, if you took a look at that beautiful social media post made by myself, thanks to the great help and filming of Joshua Yuhas here, would have seen him give some incredible answers, but more importantly, would have seen just simply how tall he is.
The height difference, just walking over, standing next to him, is insane. I mean, I stand about 5'11", about average to above average, and here this guy stands about like 6'4", and making both of us look so tiny.
Folks, believe it or not, for those of you who did see that and are listening right now, I am 6 foot. A little over 6 foot, but I am 6 foot. Now, whether you believe it or not after seeing that video remains to be seen and is of your own opinion, but let's be real. Chase Garrow is a big guy with a lot of pop, but hasn't really been able to find the gap with any of his swings so far today. That one, though, could find a hole, and it does. And so the first hit of the day for Chase Garrow.
And, you know, it's funny when you look at him compared to, like, another guy. If you put him next to Lucas Albert, boy, is that a different look. And that's something that Lucas Albert does, is get singles. Chase Garrow does just that.
Now we'll step the second baseman here in game number 2, TJ Maglioza. The 8-hitter, and following him, Destrobats and Koprovka. Just as they did, Destrobats was the 7-hitter in the first game, but Koprovka, just as he did in game 1, will round out the lineup and be the 10th and final hitter. It's the first pitch to Maglioza, a strike. The second one, a ball.
That one just missed. Hard break on that one, but both sides don't get the call they were looking for. Maglioza was not pleased with the first one. Forster doesn't get the second.
Runner takes off. Maglioza will foul it off and potentially might have saved Garrow from the fate that many of his teammates had to face, which was the cannon of Provenzano. 1-2 with 2 away here in the bottom of the second. That one will miss just outside. 2-2 with 2 away in the bottom of the second, and the Kings still lead it 4-0. It's Garrow over on first. He singled. And Maglioso up to the plate, who swings through that one, climbing the ladder, and he got him. Strike 3. And so the Kings strand 1 and will come up to bat in the top of the third, still leading 4-0 here from a beautiful Moody Park on Jersey Baseball Nation. Top 3. That'll be number 40 to lead it off, the DH, Isaac Buckhalter. Hanfield on the mound. He'll kick and deal on the pitch in the dirt. Nate Wood says that Buckhalter did not swing, so ball number 1 to start off for Buckhalter to lead it off here in the top of the third. The Kings lead it 4-0 off 3 hits, couple of walks, hit batter, and some wild pitches, and they've found a way to score some runs in the classic good old ECCBL rally. You know, just another day at the ballpark.
You have your big hit rallies and all, but who doesn't love a good walk, wild pitch, and hit by pitch rally? Well, the pitcher doesn't like it.
There was a single in that rally that did score 2 runs, as Buckhalter will sky this one up. It'll stay in the infield over at third base. Calling for it is Galasso. He'll make the catch. First out of the inning.
And with the day he's had, it's no surprise that gets under it for an easy out.
And up will step Sean Heffernan.
Number 11, second baseman, Sean Heffernan.
Sean Heffernan walked and scored a run his first time up. As a part of that 2-out rally. His walk loaded the bases and gave way to Scabona, who was hit by a pitch to score the first run of the day. Swings and fouls that one off the mask of Howland. So home plate umpire Chris Gelling will take a little second, checked on Howland, the man who has done a nice job at protecting him so far today. The count, though, 1-1 with 1 away. Here in the top of the third, where the Kings lead it 4-0. You're listening to Jersey Baseball Nation on YouTube. I'm Max Raymond alongside me, Josh Yuhas, and our producer for this one, the great Charlie Jones. It's the count now 2-1 to Sean Heffernan. Chopped on the ground, over to third. Galasso unable to snag that hopper. And so, Heffernan will reach base safely with a single. as the Kings look to start up a 1-out rally and tack on a couple of more.
There's a good old Moody bounce single.
Number 6,
Takes a
right
weird
fielder,
bounce on
Will
Galasso,
Scavone.
high one. Really gave him no chance. He had to reach his glove up, and that's a base hit for Heffernan. He gets on base for the first time of the day, or the second time of the day.
And that is the second time so far today where strange hops have gotten the best of Galasso. Second time in this game, excuse me. As Scabona's going to sky this one up. It'll track into the outfield just barely, but tracking it down eventually and making the catch, TJ Maglioso, to retire the second out.
A good job of tracking, and it's a struggling bat for the Kings, and Will
Number
Scabona
7,
just has not been able to
fielder,
find his
Marco
groove at the
Christopher.
plate, but in the field has made his presence known. That's why he's primarily in that outfield party. Really has a strong arm and a good understanding of the field. In game one, he was able to limit Albert to a single, what could have been a double, and just overall strong fielding. But at the plate, still a struggle in his ECCBL season.
Jason Hanfield, with that pitch, has now eclipsed 61 pitches so far on the day. He gets out in front of Marco Christopher, 0-1. With 2 outs, and it's Sean Heffernan hanging out over on first base. As Christopher swings and misses at that one, and it's now 0-2 with 2 away here in the top of the third, with the Kings leading the Trenton Generals 4-0. Fouled off the mask of Howland, once again, and so the 0-2 will have to come for a second time. On deck, it's Provenzano. He had the 2-run RBI single back in the first inning that rounded out the 4-run first. And is a big reason why we are where we stand right now, 4-0 Kings here in the top of the third. Howland checks on Heffernan. Now he'll set. He'll kick and deal. Fouled off, and so another will come from Hanfield. Hanfield will set. He'll kick and deal. Popped up. Howland ranging over, but it'll reach the parking lot. Did not sound like it hit a car, thankfully, but once again, another will come. This 6th pitch of the at-bat awaits.
Marco Christopher just making sure he's extending these at-bats after what was an easy out to not make it as easy for Hanfield, who we know his pitch count has gotten fairly high, and you want to keep him at bay.
Out one upstairs, and so awaits pitch number 7. And a great job by Marco Christopher to battle. Pitch number 7 of the at-bat. Hanfield sets, kicks, deals. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and so that will do it in the inning. One hit, no runs, 1 runner left on base at the end of 2 1/3. The Kings lead it 4-0. Go catch a break, but come right back. It's Gesture Bats, Koprovka, and Crane to lead it off for the Generals when we return here on Jersey Baseball Nation.
Antonio Destrabat.
Bottom three, and Antonio Destrabat steps up to the plate. And the Trenton Generals trail it 4-0 after allowing 4 to score back in the top of the first. And Hanfield's settled in since then, but his counterpart and opponent in Andrew Forster has simply just been cruising. So far in this one, only 2 runners have reached base safely for the Trenton Generals. It was Carlton Crane as well as Chase Garrow who have the 2 hits. But other than that, Forster's been shutting down this Generals lineup. As that foul ball will bring the count to 1-2 to the 9th hitter out of 10 in Destrabat.
Yeah, and he's just been confident on the mound, whether it's getting strikeouts, 3 of them swinging, 1 of them looking, but also a couple of groundouts for some of those outs this game so far. So he's getting weak contact, he's getting workable contact for his fielders, and then he's getting strikeout stuff.
Swung on a missed strike 3. And so Destrabat's down swinging, and now will step up Kurt Koprovka.
Number 16, right fielder Kurt Kropofka.
First pitch to Koprovka, called strike. Count 0-1, and that one just misses. Count 1-1. And Andrew Forster is cruising. 36 pitches got him through the first 2 innings. He's now up to 40 through 2 1/3. And he's on pace to throw 4 innings, but I believe he's also on pace to potentially reach 5 innings of work, which we haven't really seen Coach Tyler Kimmick push his pitchers to really reach that limit, especially on doubleheader days.
Other than really McCracken, he's really the only one that has gotten that leash, and fairly so because he's been trending as an all-star kind of lock for this season because of how well he's been pitching.
He's a trending Cy Young guy.
Indeed.
As the count is 3-2 with 1 out. Called strike 3, got him looking, and Kurt Koprovka is not too pleased with that one, but he's going to have to accept that as he walks back to the dugout. And so up will step Carlton Crane with 2 out here in the bottom of the 3rd. Back-to-back Ks, that is 3 Ks in a row. And Andrew Forster has K'd 4 of the last 5 batters he's faced. The first pitch to Crane, check swing, and not going to check down, so it's going to be a ball.
And the check.
Oh,
the
now
late
they're
check.
going to check. A late check awarded, and the call has been reversed for strike 1. Next pitch in there for a strike, and the count now 0-2 as Forster hunts down his 4th K in a row. The 0-2 with 2 away. Popped up. Third base side. Provenzano letting his teammate know that it's out of play, and it does go out of play. Provenzano will set. Forster will deal, and strike number 3 got him swinging.
For the Generals in the 3rd, no runs,
3
no
straight
hits,
Ks,
no errors, and
3 up,
1 out.
3 down as we'll head to the top of the 4th, with the Kings leading it 4-0. Top of the fourth, a new inning and a new pitcher for the Trenton Generals. It's Noah Hines out there on the mound and stepping up to the plate. Provenzano for his second at bat, his first one. He singled and drove in 2 runs. Now steps up for at bat number 2 in the first pitch, called a strike. Swung on and missed, strike number 2.
And Hines so far in the ECCBL, 4 games, 2 games started. Unfortunately, an 0-2 record with 9 2/3 innings pitched. Has allowed 17 hits, 12 runs, all of them earned, and has allowed 2 home runs.
Line drive, base hit right back up the middle. So Provenzano stays hot with a leadoff single to bring up Braden Ryder. Not Brandon Ryder, Braden Ryder.
Provenzano, a guy who across this season we talked about not having his greatest season at the plate, has really had a strong day overall and has started to break his way through. And today, in game 2, 2 for 2, and had 2 RBIs that broke through those runners that were on base and has allowed for this comfortable 4-0 cushion for the starter of Forster, who is dealing on his own right.
Hines gonna keep Provenzano modest over at first. Now he'll come set and he'll deal to Braden Ryder. It kicks away. Taken off for seconds, Provenzano. He'll be in there standing. As the ball kicked away from Howland behind the dish. And so now the Kings are in motion. Runner on second and an opportunity with no outs to tack on another run. They lead it already 4-0 after a big 4-run first inning. Now a chance to tack on a couple more as Ryder sets in the box. Hines will set on the mound and deal in that one. Gets away, and Provenzano might be in his head a little bit right now. Dancing around over on second base now is the catcher and Provenzano. Hines will kick, he'll deal, and again outside in the lefty's batter's box. So 3-0 is the count to Ryder with no out here in the top of the fourth. Clouds start to kind of roll in a little bit, but the gorgeous light fixtures keep this beautiful Moody Park bright. As the 3-0 once again in the lefty's batter's box for ball number 4. And so now first and second will bring up the top of the order in Mason Myers.
Myers with a ground out and a strikeout, so 0 for 2 on the day so far. Still trying to find his way around, but with nobody down and 2 runners on, it's a great spot to have the top of your lineup coming back up.
First pitch to Myers, he checks his swing, and it's outside for a ball. So 5 consecutive balls from Hines after throwing 2 strikes followed by a single by Provenzano. He's thrown 5 straight balls. And now they're going to call a balk. Not exactly sure on what, as Hines lifted his leg, then did a little bit of an inside move. Does not have to throw over, so I'm intrigued to hear what the umps have to say. But a balk is called, and so now the runners will advance a free 90 feet, and so 2 in scoring position with nobody out for Myers. Inside, 6th consecutive ball. (2-0) from Hines. Got him.
That one's going to sting.
Hit by a pitch, so a single, a walk, and a hit by a pitch. And that'll bring up Bogart with the bases loaded.
Feels like the story of this game for the Generals pitching. There are a couple of singles, but also it's paired with a bunch of walks and hit by pitches that have not helped their case today in Game 2. Whereas in Game 1, they were doing a good job of limiting those chances. Here in Game 2, not as much for Hanfield and Hines.
A mound visit now from head coach Braden Meskill, looking to calm down his reliever.
The biggest thing is that there's nobody down. So you're going to have to find some outs, use some forces, and try and find a double play. Even if you do have to sacrifice a run, you have to find ways to produce outs in this inning, because so far it's been a struggle.
In at the corners, looking to play at the plate. Deep up the middle, looking for that double play ball that you talked about. It's Bogart up to bat. And the first pitch in there called strike.
Anything in the infield, you figure if it's towards the first baseman or third baseman, they're going to run in and try and get it home, depending on how hard it is hit. If it's hit hard, we might see them try to go home to first maybe. Depends on if it's a weak contact or hard contact. But for Hines, if you can keep it no contact, would be the best result for the Generals. And for the Kings, your best result is contact.
0-2 to Bogart. Way outside. 1-2. 1-2, bases loaded here in the top of the fourth inning. And the Kings lead it 4-0. Fouled off.
What seemed like an easy at-bat for Hines, he got to 2 strikes, has turned into a difficult one. With 1 ball and then a foul ball extending this at-bat, Bogart's doing a good job of making Hines work for this out.
One and two. Chopped back up the middle. It'll be fielded by Magliozzo. He'll get it over to Rupel at first for the first out of the inning, but a run will come in to score, so give him an RBI as all the runners on base will advance 90 feet. And so now the Kings lead it 5-0 as we get a pinch runner, and it looks like Myers is in some discomfort as Owen Razi will go in to run for Mason Myers.
Figure that adrenaline might have been running out from that hit by pitch.
1 out, 5-0. The Kings lead it with 2 runners in scoring position for McGinley, who singled and scored a run his first time up and then flew out to right field his second at-bat. That was back in the second inning. Didn't bat in the third, and now here he is to bat in the fourth. 0-1 is the count. Out 1, outside 1-1. One and one out. Called strike 1-2.
Wasn't sure if it was going to get called, but we've seen throughout this time it's been a late strike call in some times here.
Yeah, both Chris Gelling and Nate Wood back in the first game took a little bit of time at times to make that strike call, as that one clearly a ball, so no call needed to be made there.
Runners on second and third. Threat is nowhere near done. And you have a strong hitter of Michael McGinley, who has been a player of the game before this season.
To be fair, though, with this Kings lineup, as the 2-2 is going to be chopped foul down the first base line, to be fair, this Kings lineup, there is no real out of trouble. The way that it's built and constructed with McGinley, then Buckhalter, then Heffernan, the damage he can do. He's already 1-for-1 with a walk and a single. With Scabona, with Marco Christopher, his pop and power, Provenzano, Ryder, back up to the top. Now it's Razi in for Myers, who's got pop. As that one's going to be skied up It is going to stay into the infield, and calling and making the catch is Lucas Albert, and so now 2 away. And a chance to limit the damage, but first got to find a way to get out Isaac Buckholter. He's 0 for 2 in this game, struck out his first at-bat, popped out to the third baseman in Galasso in his last at-bat, last inning. 2 away, and the Kings lead it 5-0. It's Owen Rozzi over on second base, who came in to pinch run for Mason Myers, who was hit by a pitch. And it's Braden Ryder, who walked, hanging around over on third. 0-1 slapped down the first base line out of play. 0-2.
And Hines, since allowing those base runners and the run, has gotten back into the zone, has been attacking these hitters and getting into 2-strike counts. It's just getting that final out, that final strike rather, to get that final out of the inning has been the struggle for Hines.
Hines will deal. Chopped right in front of home plate. Howland will field. Throw over to first in time, this time to end the inning. 2, 3, put out to end the top of the fourth, but not before. The Kings tack on another one. They lead it 5-0. We'll head to the bottom of the fourth here on Jersey Baseball Nation. Bottom 4. 5-0. The Kings lead it on Max Raymond alongside Joshua Yuhas. Charlie Jones producing this one. The dazzling voice and the beautiful hair of Charlie Jones. Counting us in and making sure our mics sound great. As we settle in with Lucas Melton to lead off the bottom of the fourth. The first pitch he sees low in the dirt. And Forster, back out for another inning of work, is on a 4K streak, including striking out all 3 batters that he faced last inning. Struck out Magliosa to end the second inning, then struck out Destrobats, Krapovka, and Crane back in the third. And is now up 1-2 in the count to Lucas Melton. It'll be Lucas Melton, Lucas Albert, and then Galasso. The 3 minimum batters to bat in this inning for the Generals. That one's way outside, skipping in the dirt, getting away, doesn't matter, no one on base. 2-2 the count.
And Forster is an incredible strikeout guy. When you go to his high school stuff, was second in New Jersey in strikeouts on his season, only behind an old Tappan pitcher.
Grounded over to first. Fielded, flipped over to Forster. And McGinley to Forster for the first out of the inning. So that will break the strikeout streak, but not the out-recorded streak, which will extend to 5 consecutive batters with an out-recorded.
Now it's Lucas Albert. High school guy, but PA high school guy, so never ended up facing against Forster. So this is his first look at him.
And Lucas Albert struck out looking. And the first pitch he sees immediately shakes his head, and the ump says otherwise and calls it a strike. So 0-1 the count. Foul tipped off the mask of home plate umpire Chris Gelling. And so they count now 0-2 once again to Lucas Albert, who struck out on 3 pitches his first time up.
And that's why you wear the gear. Just fouls right into, I believe, the chest protector of the umpire. And it's always good to see that they come out fine, they walk out okay and everything. And that one was a simple one. Caught it square. Pretty easy one. And Albert still caught in a 0-2 count, though. Another 2-strike count that Forster has been able to work himself into. And that's why he's been so comfortable throughout this game. Has only allowed 2 hits. And has just been commanding these Generals hitters.
Fouled off.
Stayed fair.
They're going to call it a fair ball. Wow.
And Albert waited for the throw to happen and then took second. I can't believe that one stayed fair.
That did it came back. It looked off the bat foul, and then it bended back in fair, and they're going to call that a fair ball. And head coach Tyler Kimmick's going to ask a couple questions on that one, and he, like I am, equally stunned, but Lucas Albert finds a way on base. And the double it is for the 3-hitter, and that'll bring up with 1 out, Galasso.
I'll be honest, I kind of didn't look away but zoned out a bit because I thought that one was guaranteed to fall foul. And then the second I zoned back in, that ball landed seemingly fair. I'm not sure. I'd have to look back and see.
Well, it landed in fair territory. That's what the ump saw. And so the next pitch, though, Forster pumps in a strike, and that's just what he does. He just throws strikes, and he gets outs, and he finds a way through innings. It's the next one in there for a called strike, ahead in the count to Chris Galasso, 0-2, and that's just a position that he's been in seemingly almost all day. It's just what he does.
And that's a guy that you love to have on your team, especially in the ECCBL in a doubleheader where it's shortened games.
Popped up, now flipped. Forster over to first for out number 2.
So you've seen a 3-1. Now we see a 1-3 put out.
And that'll bring up Jake Rupel with 2 away, and now runner over on third. The Generals still searching for their first run in this game. They scored 1 run in the bottom of the first in the first game of the day, and that was the only run they've scored since, as the Kings have shut out the Generals for 8 consecutive innings, and Forster hunting for that 9th one.
And it was something Coach Kimmick talked to us about between the games, was that he felt that the Kings won in every regard, and I can't say I blame him in that, and I can't say that that's wrong, even though it was a 1-0 game. After that 1 run was scored, the Kings really controlled the running game, they controlled the base hits, and the pitching was stellar for them, so it was a game that was kind of in their balance, but they ended up losing. But this time you got the runs on your side to start, and it's been the same kind of story.
Next pitch called a strike, so 1-2 with 2 outs, and the Kings lead at 5-0 here in the bottom of the 4th. From Moody Park, where the second of the doubleheader, once again a 7-inning game. So we have reached the halfway point in this one. And for the Generals, they'll have a minimum of 3 innings to bat, potentially, following the conclusion of this one. Should we reach a full 7 and the Kings not tack on 5 runs in between that? Next pitch outside, and so the count now runs full. 3-2, 2 outs. That's Lucas Albert hanging around over at third base.
He was playing in the mind of Forster. It's been back-to-back balls since Albert's faked running, go back, fake running, go back, fake running, go back.
And so Rupel will work a walk. The first walk of the day for Forster. As his pitch count starts to rise, and we beg the question of, will Head coach Tyler Kimmick considered taking him out. As of now, no, as there is nobody in the bullpen. But Forster up to 65 pitches. 66, excuse me. And Logan Howland, the catcher, will step up. First pitch, he sees a ball. A rare sight, a first pitch ball from Andrew Forster.
He's hit a bit of a cold stretch in terms of finding the zone. Albert's been doing a good job distracting him at third. And just seems like Forster cannot get in a groove. Albert keeping it in the peripheral vision of Forster where he recognizes it, and he's just not getting the complete motion he needs.
2-0 now the count is. That is a third ball and the seventh consecutive ball. As we hear the Texas A&M Ball 7 chant coming from Charlie Jones. One of my personal favorite college traditions is finally that chant would be concluded due to a strike thrown. But I've got to say, that's one of my favorite. That and Country Roads with West Virginia are my top two favorite college baseball traditions. As that is ball number 4, and the bases are now loaded with 2 away to bring up
the good old friend, the tall,
good old friend
Chase Garrow.
As head coach Tyler Kimmick will take a second to have a little bit of a mound visit. What are some of your favorite college baseball traditions?
I mean, we kind of mentioned the one that you kind of can't go away from, and that's the ball count from the Texas A&M group. And to be honest, I don't know, really. I just like the whole feel of college baseball. I don't have a specific one other than that one because that one's so big and so popular with the consensus of everything. But I think just the overall baseball culture is really fun to dive into, especially with how the NCAA tournament went, the road to Omaha, and how all the fans really come together.
I've got to say, my third, to round out my top 3, my third favorite is Rocky Top with Tennessee. Absolutely incredible song. Really, it's one that I enjoy listening to every time they score, playing good old Rocky Top. And I know they play it at a lot of different games as well, but I really do enjoy listening to it whenever it comes on. I think there was a point where I had a playlist with that is my number 1 song.
Fair enough.
Enjoy it. It's a great song.
It is a good song.
As Charlie Jones, who attends an SEC rival, disapproves of my comments.
He highly disapproves as someone.
It's my take, not yours. You can come on the mic and share whatever you want. As that's going to be a base knock for Garrow, excuse me. There's a great throw there by Razi. Will hold up the runner of Rupel over at third, but so it's an RBI single, and Garrow finally breaks open the scoring for the Generals. A little station-to-station single as the bases remain loaded with 2 away, and now will step up TJ Magliozzo.
This is your chance for the Generals. You got 1, but to really be in this game, you have to get Rupel in at minimum, and Howland you'd really prefer to bring in as well. If you can get 2 more, you make it a 2-run ball game with a couple of innings left. You know that you can get guys on base. And if you can capitalize, the Generals can be back in this game and try and sweep the series.
Fouled off. Count 1-1.
For Garrow, that's the second time he sent it between that first base and second base side for a hard hit grounder single. So he's having a strong day.
Called strike, 1-2 now with 2 away.
I can't say it's exactly a spot I like, but I can't say that he hasn't been consistently calling it. That outside part of the plate has been consistently called as a strike, and Forster knows he can go to it.
Called strike 3, looking to end the inning. And so the bases are stranded, loaded, but at least the Generals, they get 1. And now it's 5-1 as we head to the top of the fifth here on Jersey Baseball Nation.
Errors and
Top five. And the Trenton Generals are trailing 5-1, but they did get one run back. They equaled the one that the Kings scored at the top of the fourth, got one of their own at the bottom of the fourth. So top five, 5-1, Kings lead it. It's Noah Hines back out for another inning of work, and Hines was able to get out of trouble after allowing the run to score. Stranded runners on second and third and recorded 3 consecutive outs. And now we'll step Sean Heffernan for his third at-bat of the day. He walked, scored a run back in the first inning, and then he singled in the third. And the first pitch he sees from Hines called a strike, so the count is 0-1. Line drive snagged by Magliozzo. And another great play there by the second baseman. In the first game, it was Galasso snagging and robbing 2 base hits. This time Magliozzo with the web gem. And so one away quite mighty quick for Noah Hines.
And he got a good read on it and pretty easy liner for him to get to and make the play. But we've seen him give him some trouble.
On the ground, skip, and a little bit of an Olay there from Lucas Albert. That one ate him up, and so a base hit there for Scabona, Will Scabona. Got a base knock, hit by a pitch, and then he popped out to the second baseman, so that's been his day so far. Now a step Marco Christopher. He walked and then struck out looking last time up. Hines will set. He'll kick and deal. Line drive as Albert got another chance, but this one off his glove again. Some wacky hops that he's been having to deal with. And the result of that, another base hit. Back-to-back singles as the Kings look to regain their lead and maybe stretch it even further with one away here in the top of the fifth. They're up 5-1, but they've got 2 on, including 1 in scoring position and 1 out.
Moody Park's infield has been cruel to the Generals in this game, too. Galasso with some bad luck. And Albert, just the whole left side of the infield really has not been lucky for the Generals in terms of these ground balls.
A hung breaker way too high for Provenzano, who's 2 for 2 on the day. He had a 2-run RBI single back in the first inning, and then a single that led off the fourth inning, and he scored a run. Now he's going to fly one out to right field, and it will be foul. Count 1-1.
The thing that's going to hurt for the Generals so much is the fact that they had a premier opportunity to get people around with the bases loaded and went down looking, sure, maybe the zone is not as favorable and on that outside half, but still, you knew that it was going to get called. You have to at least try and get the bat out to it, and with the bases loaded, get as much as you can, but they squandered that opportunity, and now they sit here trailing 5-1 instead of what could have been 5-2, 5-3, but still, runners on base that they're going to have to deal with.
This one into left field. It'll get down for a base hit. Rounding third, heading home is Will Scabona. He'll get up standing. He put on the Jets in the afterburners. He goes second to home. Advancing over to second is Provenzano. Christopher. Heading to first is Provenzano with the RBI single. His third RBI on the Kings as they now lead it 6-1.
And Provenzano just continues his incredible game, an incredible day as a whole. The first game, it was his defense really showing out behind the plate. And this game, it's really been the offense. 2 RBI single that broke it through in the first, a single and then came around to score in that fourth, and then a RBI single here in the fifth. So making his mark known on this game. The catchers across this whole day have been very prominent in the results of each game.
Braden Ryder now up to the plate. First pitch he sees, strike. Second pitch fouled off for strike number 2. And Braden Ryder flew out to left and then walked his last time up on 4 pitches and was stranded over on third. He, with 1 out, has an opportunity to drive in another run as the Kings look to tack on a couple of more for their starting pitcher in Forster, who's been dealing. But this one swung on and missed for strike number 3. And so now 2 away, and that'll bring up Owen Rozzi for his first plate appearance in this game number 2 of the day.
He came in as a pinch runner in that fourth inning. Myers had been hit by a pitch and then got moved over to second. And since then, he got taken out when he was at second, and Owen Rozzi stepped in at second as a pinch runner, and then has covered right field since he's come in, and his first at bat.
First pitch to Rozzi called strike. Again, Owen Rozzi's got a lot of pop. 2 home runs. Hasn't hit one here at Moody Park yet, but we've seen the ball starting to leave the ballpark quite a bit more. Already 1 home run on the day. That was back in the first game of the day for the Bayshore Dirty Birds, and what almost was a stunning win in that first game. They did end up coming around to win the second game. Third game was the Trenton Generals winning, and now here we are in the fourth game with the Kings leading the Generals 6-1 and looking to tack on a couple of more. 0-2 is the count with 2 away to Owen Rozzi. He's going to slap that one over to Maglioso at second. On to Rupel at first in time to end the inning. But the Kings add another second consecutive inning of a run scored, and they lead it 6-1. We'll be right back with the bottom of the 5th when we return. We return here in the bottom of the fifth with a new wing out there on the mound for the South Jersey Kings as the Trenton Generals come to bat. It's Trent Ferrara, bunch of T's that I've got to find my way through. So Trent Ferrara, now a lefty out on the mound to face the left-handed batter in Destrobats. It'll be Destrobats, Koprovka, and then back to the top of the order with Carlton Crane. That's a big swing and a miss there from Destrobats, and the count now 2-1.
Andrew Forster, in his day, 4 innings pitched, 4 hits allowed, 2 walks, 1 run. That run was earned, but 8 strikeouts. Forster had the strikeout stuff working for the Kings and limited them to just 1 run in his 4 innings of work and passes it along to Trent Ferrara to try and move it forward.
8 Ks, including a 4K streak. As check swing does not go, count runs full. 3-2 to Destrobats, the first batter that Trent Ferrara has to face here in the bottom of the fifth of game number 2, with the South Jersey Kings leading the Trenton Generals 6-1. And swung on and miss, strike 3, and Trent Ferrara looks to try and get close to, if not match, the strikeout numbers of his counterpart in the starting pitcher in Forster. And strikes out the first guy he faces, and now steps up Kurt Koprovka, who's 0 for 1 with a K, looking on the day so far, in the game so far. First pitch, upstairs ball, a little breaking ball that just didn't break down into the zone. And the next one plunked him.
Yeah, that motion just seemed off from the start. And then it just ends up on the back of Koprovka. And that's an early base runner, and you head to the top of the lineup.
Number 8, the DH.
But for Ferrara, it's just a pitch you got to put behind you. It wasn't exactly your cleanest motion, your cleanest run through there. And now you just have to deal with that runner on first. But you have a lefty-lefty matchup against Crane, a lefty-lefty matchup against Melton, and a lefty-lefty matchup against Albert as the next 3 hitters.
Upstairs, the first pitch to Carlton Crane. So 1-0 is the count with 1 away and 1 on here in the bottom of the fifth. 6-1. South Jersey Kings lead it as that one. Also a ball, 2-0 the count.
It's a close miss.
Three and 0 is now the count. To the leadoff batter in the Trenton Generals lineup in Carlton Crane. Carlton Crane singled and then struck out swinging last time up. The 3-0, he takes it all the way, 3-1. Fouled off, gets out of play. 3-2 now the count. Looped into left field. The dunks in for a base hit. So with 1 out, the Generals are starting to get cooking a little bit here in the bottom of the fifth. Lucas Melton will step to the plate with 1 out and 2 on. Lucas Melton, 0 for 2. Struck out swinging first time up back in the first inning, and then in the 4th inning, he grounded out 3-1. First pitch he sees called a strike. Oh, 1. Swung on and missed 0-2. As Trent Ferrara tries to get back to the strikeout ways that he started this game with. Started his outing with, excuse me. 0-2 gets him swinging strike 3 on 3 pitches. And so now 2 outs with 2 on.
Number 1, shortstop, Lucas Albert.
This is the guy you want up to try and spark this offense and get anything going so that you get in these later innings, the 6th and the 7th, that you have a closer margin to work with. We know that he can drive one or he can get a base hit single. We know he can do either. Has a double on this game already.
First pitch ball. So 1-0 the count with 2 away. Here in the bottom of the 5th. 6-1, South Jersey Kings lead it. Kings have 8 hits to the Generals 5 in this game. As each team's offense slowly starting to get rolling a little bit. 2-0 is the count. Called strike, 2-1. Quick little check. On the base runner in Koprovka over on second. And now he'll deal. Fouled right back.
Right to you.
Almost at my head. I blinked. I don't think you saw it, but I blinked. I knew it was coming. I got them spidey senses from being a catcher and knowing the direction that the ball is going. Now I got to check to see if I'm Spider-Man.
Yeah, you got to do the check now. It's
always
required.
gotta
You got to
check.
do the check.
You always have to check, as that's ball 3 now. 3-2. Count goes full with 2 away to Lucas Albert. Anytime you just have a quick reaction moment, you just got to check to see, are you Spider-Man
You
or
never
not?
know. You never know.
I flinched and blinked and reacted to that ball before it was even really past the home plate umpire. So 3-2, 2 outs. Runners in motion as that one's chopped over to second. Fielded by Heffernan over to McGinley at first for out number 3.
In the 5th.
So that'll end the 5th inning. We'll head to the top of the 6th with the Kings still leading it 6-1 here on Jersey Baseball Nation.
Left after 5.
Top 6. Yes, top 6. And 6-1, the South Jersey Kings lead it. As it is now Jason Bogart back up for his 4th at-bat. He singled, then was called out on interference, then grounded out 4-3, but did record an RBI back in the 4th inning, and that's what brings us here in the 6th.
It's a new pitcher on the mound, a Pennsylvania high school product from the school of, jeez, my mind just blanked. Archbishop Wood. I just said it, and I was just thinking of it, and it was in my mind. Archbishop Wood. There we go. It's in my mind now. A lot of baseball, a lot of numbers. But according to Max Preps,
According to Max Preps.
take with a grain of salt. 7-2 record in 11 games, 9 started, a 1.04 ERA. Again, I say take it with a grain of salt because a lot of times with Max Preps, sometimes the stats don't get inputted correctly or as often or as frequent as I've figured out when trying to look through. But
some stats on Max Preps, some games are just not inputted, some are inputted incorrectly. And we say take it with a grain of salt because I somehow have become an official reporter of Max Preps. So if I can officially report Max Prep scores, especially doing it from Ithaca College reporting about high school games in New Jersey, then you got to understand this is the Wikipedia of high school athletics. But Jason Bogart strikes out swinging on 3 pitches to start off the top of the 6th. And now we'll step up McGinley, who is 1 for 3, single, flied out to right field and popped out to the shortstop, and he hits one hard on the ground. Albert takes his time with this one, fires over to first a little wide, trying to get over from the tag, missed him, and so that will be an error on Lucas Albert.
the throw pulled him off, but also the play at first, Rupel decided not to go for a stretch, but instead stepped off of the bag and then looked to swing back around for a tag. So,
well, if he had tried to stay on, it would have made catching that ball rather difficult. So I think that was the right decision to at least ensure that you get the ball and you don't allow the runner to have the chance to advance to second. So that'll bring up Buckhalter, who's 0 for 3 on the day. Cade popped out to the third baseman and grounded out 2-3.
and regardless of what stats it is for Brady Sell, just understand he was a really strong high school pitcher, and we'll see how he does in this league. But already we're seeing that he has some strong stuff and a very imposing motion as well.
Big time backup there as McGinley takes off running for second base. Howland's thrown the wrong side of the bag of second. And a great job there by Lucas Albert to back up TJ Maglioso, who let the ball go between his wickets. So the righty in cell will set. He'll check on the runner at second, kick and deal. And this one's going to get fly down the first base line. It's going to get well out of play in foul territory. And so the count is now 2-1.
Buckhalter just looking for his first hit of this game. He's gotten out in a couple different ways with a strikeout, a pop out to third, and a ground out that the catcher threw down to first.
Let's think. What is he missing? Interference, fly out, error. That's technically an out. I believe that's it.
Fielder's choice?
Fielder's choice. You're right. Fielder's choice. So 4 other ways that he could be charged with an out.
Foul out?
Swung on a miss there. Count now 3-2.
That one's a little bit more fringy because you can kind of tag it with a...
Runner's interference. Runner's interference, yes. Yes.
And we've seen that.
I think
called
I
today.
thought I said that first, though. I think I said interference first, but in case I didn't, interference is he'll strike out swinging, so not a new way to record an out as we try to list all the possible ways that you could record an out.
I mean, drop third strike we haven't seen.
Yeah, but that's...
I mean, it's still a variation. It is a
here's the-
variation of strikeout.
It's still a strikeout, and the foul ball would be either a fly out or a pop out.
That is true. It depends
So
on how specific or...
It's different variations, but it's still...
Same umbrella.
I'm talking about in a scorebook, you can have an L, a K, a F, a P, an INT for interference, an SFC, sac fly, an
Infield
FC
fly
for
rule.
fielder's choice. Infield fly rule. There you
There we
go.
go.
There we go. That's the one I've been missing. That's the one I'm missing. 0-1, 2 away, runner on second. 6-1, the Kings lead it over the Generals. Here in the top of the 6th, as that one gets found out of play in the count now 0-2. As cells come in, he struck out Bogart, then E6, and then a strikeout. So technically it should have been a 1-2-3 inning.
And he's shown his good strikeout stuff, as we believe had 104 strikeouts in high school at Archbishop Wood. But we're seeing it here
That's
at
probably
Moody Park.
There's probably a minimum of 104, 103. As that one chopped over to Albert at short. He's going to throw to first to Rupel in time. Got him to end the inning. So we will go to the bottom of the sixth with the Kings leading it 6-1 here on Jersey Baseball Nation. Chris Galasso steps up to the plate to lead off the bottom of the sixth. 6 outs. That's all the Trenton Generals have to play with, and 6 runs is what they need to lead this game for the first time and get their first lead since the first game. Excuse me. Something got stuck in my throat, but I'm good. And so Galasso faces an even count of 1-1. Ferrara back out there for another inning of work. Deals this one grounded over to first. Fielded and flipped over to the pitcher and Ferrara. 3-1 for the first out of the inning.
A good quick snag from McGinley. Just quick movement from the glove, grabbed it, and then tossed it over to first. And a good quick step by Trent Ferrara to make sure that he got that foot on the bag first. So some good fielding all around for a routine play. And you get the first out of the inning, and you keep limiting this Generals team from getting on base. They're down to their last 5 outs.
Now we'll step up Jake Rupel. Rupel, 0 for 1 with a walk. Got stranded on third base when he walked back in the 4th inning. This is third at bat of the day. 1-1 is the count to him. Rupel and Howland, and then Gara. The next 3 in the Trenton Generals lineup as they look to mount a comeback. Down 5 here, bottom 6. 1 out. And a 2-1 count now evens back up at 2 apiece. 2-2 with 1 away. Ferrara sets. He'll kick. He'll deal. Breaker that did not go the way that he wanted it to, and so the count now full 3-2.
And this could be a big decider on can the Generals get momentum? Because if you get Rupel on with 1 out, it helps you get started. But if it gets down to 2, it only gets worse. But we see the result there.
Ball 4, Rupel works a walk, and so that'll bring up Logan Howland with 1 gone and 1 on here in the bottom of the 6th.
Logan Howland.
And with 1 out, this is where you have to capitalize and at least get 1 or 2 more guys to make productive plays and then try and work through that lineup.
Chopper over to short, taking it himself, firing a first. Double play to end the inning. What a job there by Jason Bogart. 6-3 double play to end the inning. And so we'll head to the top of the 7th with the Kings still leading it 6-1.
The Generals won. Will Scabona.
Top 7 and a leading off, Will Scabona. Potentially could be the final inning of play and his final at bat of the day. Out on the mound, Brady Sell. Once again for another inning of work. His first pitch to Scabona, outside for ball. To be Will Scabona, followed by Marco Christopher and Provenzano. As that next pitch called a strike. Those are the 3 batters due up to bat. 6-1. Kings lead it over the Trenton Generals. Looking to split the doubleheader. Fouled off. 1-2 now the count.
Scabona has been fighting, and he got hit by a pitch, came around to score in the first. It was an RBI hit by pitch in that first inning, and then in the 5th, had a single and was brought around to score.
The 1-2. Fouled off again, and he'll see another. Scabona to lead off the top of the 7th as the Kings look to tack on a couple of more. No action in the bullpen, and so it seems that it will be Trent Ferrara's ball, and head coach Tyler Kimmick looks to get out of the day only using 4 total pitchers. Is this one grounded on the ground to Galasso, over to first. Beautiful pick by Rupel for the first out of the inning.
It's good plays all around because Galasso was reading it, hits the edge of the grass, and then has to get a read on it. Fields it and has to throw flat-footed. Gets a throw down that allows for Rupel to reach down and scoop it up. Good play all around for the first out.
One down and up will bring Marco Christopher. He is 1 for 2 with a walk, K looking, and a single. Got stranded on second base, is yet to score a run in this game. In the first pitch, he sees a ball with one down here in the top of the 7th. The 1-0. Swung on and missed, 1-1.
A lot of ones.
Technically not, though. That's just the scoreboard being a little buggy. It's number 7 up to bat. But
I'm more looking 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. 1 run for the Gens and 1 error, so a lot of ones across the scoreboard.
There's a bunch of ones on the scoreboard, but now one of those ones will become a 2, and that is the one in the strike column, as it is 1 and 2 now to Marco Christopher. Number 7, batting in the 7th spot, playing the 7th position of left field. So will kick and deal way outside. 2 and 2.
That's a spot that we've seen throughout this game called for a strike. And that time just doesn't get the call.
2-2. Skied out of play. And I'll see another. 2-2.
So the bat will keep going, and Christopher has done a good job of working his at-bats, finding his ways on base. Has reached third at his first time and was stranded there, and reached second in the 5th, was stranded there. But he'll try to get on base again and help get some insurance runs for Ferrara when he returns to the mound, as we presume in that bottom half of the 7th.
Oh, I don't see anyone warming up. I don't see anyone having to catch behind the dugout.
I don't see a reason why he would come out, really, either.
Trent Ferraris pitched 2 innings and thrown 2 more donuts up on the scoreboard. Scoreboard full of 5 donuts and 1 stick. Is that one in there? Strike 3 got him looking for the second time in the game. So now 2 away, and that'll bring up the catcher in Provenzano. Provenzano is 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a run scored. He singled in the first inning, drove in 2. Singled in the 4th inning and scored. Singled in the 5th inning and drove in a run. He has been producing, and back in the first game, he threw out 2 runners who were trying to steal base. He has been an incredible asset for head coach Tyler Kimmick. First pitch he sees, a strike. Next one he sees a bit lower and a ball. So 1-1 as Brady Sell makes some adjustments and fixes his landing spot out on this Moody Park mound. Sell comes set, he kicks and deals, and Provenzano fouls it off down the first base line out of play, and the count now 1-2 with 2 outs. Here in the top of the 7th, the South Jersey Kings lead the Trenton Generals 6-1. The Generals looking to get an out, get back up to the plate, and they'll need 5 to tie, 6 to win it. Chop the slow roller, charging is Maglioso. He's going to field it, flip it in his glove to first, and Rupel will catch it for the final out of the inning. An incredible play by Maglioso, and now the Trenton Generals are out of the inning, and they'll come up to bat. It's Garrow, Maglioso, and Destrabats when we return to do up for the Generals. The Kings lead at 6-1, bottom of the 7th up next here on Jersey Baseball Nation. Chase Garrow, the EH, to lead it off, followed by Magliosa, the second baseman, who just had a dazzling play to end the top of the seventh. And then it's Destromats, the left fielder, and should we get there, Kurt Kaprovka.
Garrow's one of the few guys that has had a groove.
6-1, bottom of the seventh. And the Trenton Generals trail and down to their final 3 outs and down to their final 7 strikes. At 1. Outside ball, and so they count now 1-2. And Garrow, 2 for 2 in this one. He's got 2 singles and an RBI. But that strike 3 got him. And so now 1 away for TJ Maglioso, who is 0 for 2 with 2 Ks.
It just has not been his day. And you look at the day as a whole for the Generals, 10 of the 12 times that they have come to the plate, they have been held scoreless. It was that first inning that they were able to score, and then in game 1, and then in this game, it was the 4th that they scored. But aside from that, that's all their run production. And it was enough to win that first game. They won that game 1-0. But this game, just not enough when you give up 4 in the first.
Swung on a miss, and the count now 1-2 to TJ Maglioso with 1 away, trailing 6-1, and looking for a spark and trying to make a comeback. They've been trailing the entirety of this game, as that one gets them looking, strike 3. And so now we'll step up Destromats, who struck out twice in this game, 0 for 2 with 2 Ks swinging, as the final hope for the Trenton Generals. The South Jersey Kings scored 4 in the top of the first, tacked on another one back in the top of the 4th. In the bottom of the 4th, the Trenton Generals got their lone and only run of this game. Top of the 5th, the South Jersey Kings put up another one, and that's what's gotten us to where we are right now. 6-1 South Jersey Kings with the Trenton Generals down to their final out. 1-0 is the count to Destromats. In their first strike, and the count now 1-1. And Destromats is hitless in this game, and Destromats so far on the day is hitless. He's 0 for 4. As that pitch is a ball. In the first game, he flew out to left and then flew out to right. And so far in this game, he has struck out swinging twice, including on a full count his last time up. As that one's in there for a strike, and the count now even at 2s. 2-2, 2 outs. Here in the bottom of the 7th, and the Generals down to their final strike. Ferrara will deal. Swung on in, missed, strike 3. Trent Ferrara strikes out the side to end the 7th, and so the South Jersey Kings will split the doubleheader with the Trenton Generals. They take game 2 by a score of 6-1.
That's back-to-back weekends where the double headers are split, and that's a huge win for the Kings if they want to stay within range of the Mammoths. The Mammoths split the first doubleheader. The Kings split the second one with the Generals, and just a really dominant time on the mound, whether you look at the start from Andrew Forster getting 8 Ks in his 4 innings of work, and then Trent Ferrara striking out the side to close it, continuing that strikeout stuff, and a strong pitching day all around, even if you go back to Gabe McCracken and Andrew Prawn in Game 1. Overall, a strong day on the mound for the Kings, and at the plate, they did enough. 6 runs on 8 hits as well, just taking advantage of every chance in Game 2.
So at the end of the game, it's the South Jersey Kings that win it. For our incredible producer and Charlie Jones and my broadcaster in crime here, Josh Yuhas, I'm Max Raymond saying so long and thank you for sticking around in what was a doubleheader, 4 consecutive games where we saw the Mammoths and the Dirty Birds split the doubleheader, and just now the Kings and the Generals split the doubleheader once again. That is the conclusion of our broadcast from Moody Park. Stay tuned. Coming up Tuesday, some more action. But until then, we say so long and thank you for joining us. The Kings, they win the final one 6-1. Have a great night.